what makes you think that porn is really an addiction from your own perspective?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I don't like using the word addiction either, but I do, in my own experience, right? Before even learning about NoFap and learning about what it does to our brains, I struggled to quit. It's as simple as that. Like I struggled. Like it was addictive. I could not stop myself. I remember the first time I realized I had an issue was when someone was like, "Yo, no, not November. Let's give it a shot." And on day one, I failed. He's like, "It's fine. You get a pass. Try again." The next day, I failed again. And this was the first time that I realized, okay, I have an issue here. And the reason why I don't like people saying that porn isn't an addiction, even though I don't like the word addiction, is because it encourages men to not take responsibility for their actions. For example, I used to be super, super skinny, and people didn't tell me I was skinny, or I knew that I was skinny and I wanted to get better. So what did I do? I took responsibility and I started hitting the gym. I started improving myself, getting in, day out. And now I'm jacked. All right. I took responsibility. And the thing is, with telling people that porn isn't an addiction, it's sort of like telling me, like, hey, it's okay, you're not skinny. But I knew that I wanted to do better. It's okay. You can think I'm not skinny. I still want to do better. So people can say porn isn't an addiction, but I'm still going to take that responsibility to do my best to quit. And I just feel like with this new trending thing of people saying that porn isn't an addiction, it's encouraging men to not take that same responsibility I took to get jacked, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I get your perspective. So let me just share mine in a sense that when we say that porn is not an addiction, it's not to say that just watch porn. Instead, when we say it's not an addiction, what really comes in is the concept of free will. And what we mean by that is that because we have free will as human beings, that means we can always choose. We're not forced to do anything. And that's what most of the time what people mean by addiction is they're kind of forced to do that thing. They're just like pushed towards it. It's like they're getting pulled by porn towards watching it basically. And instead we just say, you know what, porn is not an addiction, it's simply a preference that you have based on the value that you see in it. So once you debunk the value that you see in porn, whether that be stress relief, whether that be pleasure, whether that be sexual relief, and you debunk those things and you realize that porn actually gives you nothing, you just realize that you were watching porn because of the perceived value and not because you were forced to watch porn, right? Because when people talk about addiction, they most of the time talk about like, oh, I'm addicted because I cannot control myself. I'm addicted because I struggle. But the reality is, internally, they want to watch porn because of the perceived value, but people tell them
Mhm.
to not watch porn. So, if we go back to the November, the way that I will perceive your experience is that, obviously the same happened to me, but how I perceive it is that, okay, you got told to do no November, but internally you didn't really want it to because you wanted the pleasure from porn, right? You probably wanted the pleasure from like busting a nut. And that's what people are, going towards. And that's what makes them want to watch porn. And then when they get told, oh, don't watch porn, and then they watch porn, then they feel like a failure. But the reality is they didn't want to really do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by they didn't really want to do it and this whole perceived value? Because I get that quitting porn, you gain so much and you lose nothing. But what do you mean? Like, can you explain that further?
So imagine that you like doing something. Let's say that you love playing a specific sport. Let's say you love playing basketball. And I tell you, stop playing basketball because it's bad for you. Now, you're not really gonna see the point in just stopping to play basketball because you love playing basketball. You see so much
Mhm.
value, you see pleasure,
Mhm.
you see friends, things of that nature. So you're just going to continue on playing basketball, right? It's not even a question of failing or succeeding. It's just a question of you want to do what you want to do. So the same exact thing happens with porn in a sense that we get told to not watch porn, and because of that, once we decide to watch porn, we get told that you should feel ashamed, you should feel like you're a failure, which
Mhm.
I cannot understand from a morality standpoint. But the reality is, people want to watch porn, and I don't like saying this that people want to watch porn, but it's because of the value that we perceive in it. We think, oh my God, I watch porn, it's gonna give me that stress relief. It's gonna give me so much pleasure, man. I'm gonna feel so much dopamine. It's gonna relieve my my sexual needs, and we just attach so much perceived benefits that we just want to do it internally.
Yeah, man. I think for me, the men that I'm helping, maybe they've had a similar influence, but they've already come to me and following me because they're tired. They're tired of feeling like they're a slave to their mind and their urges and watching porn, even though they don't want to. So I think it might start off like I started off wanting to watch porn. I was 13. I didn't know any better. I just stumbled upon a triple X ad and I tried to click on the X button and I end
Yeah.
up on a porn site. And now every night I'm watching porn and it's just escalating more and more. But that was when I was 13
Yeah.
and no one was around saying, hey, don't watch porn, bro.
Yeah.
so so come when my friend said, hey, let's try this No Nut November challenge, and I realized that I couldn't stop watching porn. Now maybe okay, I'm starting to feel a bit bad because hold on, I've never had issues, I've never done drugs, I've never been addicted to alcohol, I've never been addicted to weed. Why can't I stop watching porn? Like, what's going on here?
Mhm.
So even though I wanted to watch porn in the past, there came a point in my life where, hey, I'm a man now. I want to achieve things in life, and I want to stop watching porn because it's taking my time. It's making me feel guilt and shame, and the fact that I can't control myself is worrying to me. It's scary. I've never had any issues with addiction, so I decided, hey, I'm gonna quit porn. And I made that decision consciously, like ignore the addiction and all that. I just wanted to have control over my life again.
Yeah.
So I decided, hey, I'm going to quit porn. And it was tough. It was tough. And then while I'm in recovery, if I stumble across someone saying, hey, porn isn't an addiction, it's going to fuck me up in a way because I used to be, say, 14 days clean. And people would be like, yo, why are you trying to quit porn, bro? And it would start to mess with my mind. Just that alone would mess with my mind and I would relapse. So just that's my beef with people saying that porn isn't an addiction. I don't like the word addiction, but if there's a problem in your life and we want to get it solved, let's get it solved. Let's take responsibility and let's get it out of our lives so we can move on. I don't
Yeah.
know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree to a certain extent. It's just the thing, which I might not agree with, is that at the end of the day, when if you look at, for example, our quote unquote NoFap journey, when we went into the NoFap journey, when we first tried to quit, right?
Mhm.
Like it's not like in a sense we didn't get nothing out of porn because we don't do any behaviors without any reason. I don't, for example, um I don't know anything. I don't go for a walk if I don't see the point of in taking a walk, right? So behaviors are very simple to understand. Now the thing is, when there's things such as urges, which for me is very flawed because an urge implies that you have no control over it. But the reality is, an urge most of the time is just simply a want, and what they want is the emotion associated with perceived benefits. So that means that you desire something, you want something because of the reward you're going to get from it, right? And that's the same exact thing with dopamine. Dopamine is the anticipation to get a specific reward. So it's basically motivating you towards getting a specific reward. Would that be stress relief? Would that be pleasure? That's why we watch porn when we feel down and not when we feel happy, right? So, um, out of what you said, I think overall, like, yes, I understand that, if we think that porn is not an addiction, then it's going to be hard for you to stop. But the reality is, when we say that porn is not an addiction, it just implies that you have control over it. And that's the biggest, like, for me, the biggest mindset shift that I did with my students that helped them like literally become free very, very, very fast. But if there's one thing we can compare, is like video games and porn, right? I used to play video games like 16 hours a day sometimes for
Mhm.
multiple years. And the moment that I decided to, you know what, I don't want to play video games anymore. I just want to, go and live my life and just basically play video games in real life. And I saw more benefits in doing so. I just stopped. Like I literally stopped overnight, right? And why does it not happen the same thing with porn? It's simply because there's so much limiting beliefs. I mean, so many limiting beliefs around porn that makes it hard. We think, oh, but porn is linked to reproduction, so that means that you always want to reproduce. Or we think, oh, I'm addicted, so It means that I'm going to do it even though I don't want to. Or we think, oh, porn is a sign that we have a lot of testosterone and libido, so it just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that makes it almost impossible to quit. So, because if you look at video games and porn, there's not much of a difference. Both of them are a screen with pixels. Both of them, quote unquote, contain dopamine. Both of them are just like basically, even in video games, there's sexuality, right? And in video games, there's also this tribe kind of like, like the when you're out with like other people,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you have like this tribal effect, right?
yeah, yeah.
That people literally crave nowadays, and you have all of these quote unquote things that will make video games almost more addictive than porn, but yet we quit video games like extremely fast. But for porn, it's not the same, right? So that's where like I don't agree with the word addiction
Mhm.
effect.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're doing in terms of helping men get rid of their limiting beliefs. I think you had a post a while back that said if someone said next time you watch porn, you die, you would never watch porn again, something like that, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
It was if you no there's another one that's better. It's like if you get $1 million right now, but you cannot watch porn for another second of your life, even if you're watching porn like 10 times a day, right? And I tell you, okay, you're gonna get $1 million or $10 million or whatever. It's gonna be easy. Like it's not gonna be a
yeah,
struggle of like, oh no,
yeah,
I did not mean to watch porn and I just watched porn, so I lost the $10 million. No, it's just like you leave porn,
yeah.
you decide to.
So I think our methods are the same in that way, in which I, instead of $1 million, I help them find the ultimate why, which is like their purpose in life, so that it doesn't make sense for them to watch porn anymore. For example, with me, I decided to quit porn so I could be financially free, so I could travel the world, retire my mom,
Yeah,
make sure she lives good while she's still here, and overall just live a fulfilling life with memories instead of regrets. And that was my $1 million. That is worth the world to me. So
yeah,
that is how I got into the right state of mind of, hey, there's no more value in porn. It doesn't make sense for me to watch people have sex. I just feel like the way that, I don't know what your model is called, the freedom model or whatever, but I feel
uh-huh.
like saying porn isn't an addiction. I just feel like that is it's a very bold claim, right? That can mess people up, but of course it also helps a lot of people. Do your people like quit overnight? Like, how does it work? You just get rid of the limiting beliefs?
Yeah, I mean, I've helped multiple people that have quit overnight. It doesn't mean it happens to literally everyone. That
Hmm.
would be like kind of crazy because I cannot control anyone, and
Hmm.
it got to come from them. But um, when they quit overnight, what happens essentially is the realization that it's always a choice. Watching porn is not something that is going to be a battle, because if you think that watching porn is going to be a battle against your own self, then you can only hurt yourself, because porn is not a physical battle that you're going to be fighting against. It's all in the mind. So that means that if you understand how the mind works, that for example you watch porn because of specific reasons, and you can debunk those reasons, then it just becomes effortless, right? It just becomes
Yeah.
effortless because it's like the same thing you said, like, oh, I stopped watching porn the moment that I really found my purpose, my $1 million. I wanted to travel the world, be successful, whatever. It should be that simple. It should be that simple, but the limiting beliefs really come into
Mm-hmm.
play in making us think that, oh, we cannot quit porn, and also that we still see value in porn. Because imagine that I tell you that if you watch porn, it's a sign that you have a lot of testosterone, a lot of hormones. So now you're thinking, oh, let me just go and watch porn because it's gonna show me that I have a lot of testosterone and libido. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Hmm.
So that's what we gotta be. I feel like careful of. But at the end of the day, if you, and I agree with the purpose thing, right? Like if you,
Yeah.
for me, I call it a vision, right? If you have a vision of like, okay, I want to get there in my life, I want to be like this, do that and this, I want to act like this, think like this, feel like this, have this lifestyle, then what happens is it just naturally becomes a lifestyle that you want to pursue, which porn is not going to be a part of, and that you're going to attach way greater like value to compared to porn, and that makes it effortless. But to make it even better, so that people actually quit overnight, is we debunk the value that we see in porn, so they don't even want porn when they feel like the worst they ever felt in their entire lives.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I feel like that's at least one thing that we do the same or agree on, man.
Yeah.
debunking the value. Like I literally, it must not make sense to watch people have sex, and that's the state of mind I feel like we're in. Porn-free men are in. Like, why on earth would we go and watch people have sex when we can go to the gym or meet women or
Yeah.
work on our
Yeah.
businesses type this? So
Yeah.
yeah, man. I guess my other issue with your, I don't know what your guys' system is called, but my other issue is that you guys say that it requires no effort at all,
Yeah.
which, I mean, I love gymming and going to the gym feels effortless, but that doesn't mean that it requires no effort at all, right?
Uh-huh.
And I feel like because as humans we want the highest reward for the least amount of effort, I just feel like telling people like, hey, quitting porn requires no effort at all kind of is going to attract the wrong people, people who just want a quick fix, people who just want a low effort way to quit porn. I don't know if you've ever experienced people like that, but yeah, what do you talk about that, man?
So obviously, when I help people, they got to be committed, and not committed in a sense of like doing exercises and just like changing their lifestyle, but just in terms of learning new information that can change their perceptions and paradigms about porn, masturbation, and different things in life. So like it's not like no effort in a sense of you're literally gonna do nothing, but more so in the sense of all you need is information. All you need is to change your perception, your
Hmm.
paradigms, your beliefs, which is not really something that is tangible, right? It's not like you're gonna tangibly like change your beliefs, right? It's more so in the mind. So that's why we say it's effortless, because once you change your beliefs, there's not going to be any battle, because you realize
Hmm.
that quitting porn was simply a choice that you can make, and you used to watch porn for specific reasons. Now that you debunk those reasons, you're not going to feel like you want to watch porn, depending on how you debunked it.
Yeah, 100%, man. I like to say if we do nothing, we'll never watch porn again. Like it is literally, as you said, it's in the mind, it's a mental battle, and it's about building the right mental armor so that we don't go back and we don't put in that effort, take that step to actually watch porn because it is a choice at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
thanks for clearing that up, man.
I got you.
But it does require effort. That was the thing.
What do you
Like
mean
it
by
does
effort?
require some effort. Like it's mental effort.
Sure.
You're not
It
gonna
depends.
do nothing. They have
I
to
mean, you need
join
to
you.
change things
Yeah.
about yourself. I agree, but I don't think a lot of people have this perspective of like, oh, I need to fight off urges for the rest of your life. But I don't, I don't even believe in urges personally. I just believe it's a want. Like, okay, you want to watch porn, you have an urge. So that's it. If you don't want to
Mhm.
watch porn, then you're not really gonna feel like watching porn.
Yeah.
It's black and white in that sense.
That's a cool reframe, man. That's a cool reframe.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any questions you have for me or anything else before we switch, talk about something else?
I would say, what do you think of like people that say that they watch porn because of trauma, because of childhood trauma and things of that nature?
Hmm. Well, for me, I would guess I started watching porn. I was 13, and my trauma was that okay, when I was like 10, there was this cute girl at school, right?
Yeah.
And my friend, he was like, yo, go talk to this girl. Right. So I woke up there nervous, shaking, my heart's beating, my heart's pounding, my mind is going at 1,000 kilometers a minute. And I see her and I go, I'm not gonna say her name, but I was like, yo, I like you. And I ran away. I ran away so damn fast, bro. So damn fast. Like I was so nervous I couldn't even stay to hear what she would respond, right? And that caused a lot of trauma for me. Like I've struggled with women basically my whole life until recently, right? So it caused a lot of trauma. And whenever I would be on Instagram and see a cute girl, instead of actually going up to girls and speaking to them, I'll be like, why get a girlfriend? I can just watch porn. So I'll just be on Instagram, see an Instagram model, end up on Pornhub just because, hey, why get a girlfriend if I can watch porn? And that's how I filled my void, filled my trauma, filled my nervousness around women. And your question was like, what do I think about people who say they're addicted to porn because of trauma? I think that there are reasons why we want porn. Okay, there are reasons why we have the urges or wants to go to porn, and whether it's traumatizing or not, whether you know why or not, there are ways to work through it. Having your $1 million why, so that you
Yeah.
choose not to go to porn. Instead, you choose your $1 million purpose. You choose your life.
Okay, okay, interesting, interesting. Yeah, because I think that um, you know, you can say quote unquote traumatic event. I just see them as like negative or positive events, but like events, they need to be interpreted in the mind first before they have an effect on you. So that means that your mind is at the base of everything. If
Yeah.
you imagine that the girl you talked to, and you ran away, imagine that you believe that it was a good thing, then it wouldn't have any negative effect on you, right?
Yeah.
Because of the way that you interpret it. So, um, trauma, because when you look at studies, 40% of people who have an addiction, most of the time to drugs or alcohol, have some form of trauma. Only 40%, right? The other 60% have normal lives, right? They just do it because of specific reasons and not because of deep, negative, traumatic events, whatever, right? So, um, yeah, it just depends on how people use their trauma, because sometimes people use the trauma to as an excuse to feel less shame why
Hmm.
for why they would
Hmm.
do something like watch porn, right? Like imagine you just say you watch porn, right? And you take responsibility for it. You're like, okay, I watch porn because I decided to, because I want to get pleasure, right? That's one thing. Now, second thing is, imagine you say, okay, I watch porn, but it wasn't my fault because I was addicted because of trauma. Now it's going to be hard to quit because you're blaming it on things that
Hmm.
technically don't really have a connection, objectively, but more
Hmm.
so that you made a connection with,
Hmm.
and you use that as an excuse so you feel less shame about it. It's that's like that's how I see it.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, I was talking to my cousin the other day, and she's like 17, and she's really bad with men. She's like, yeah, she's like, my parents were divorced.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you're just using it as an excuse, really.
Mm,
'Cause the way I treat life is I see everything as 100% my fault, and that's how
yeah.
having, instead of being the victim, like being the taking responsibility, it's the only way I see to improve. So if I'm having bad, if I'm not getting the girl I want to get, or if a girl breaks up with me, it's my fault. What can I do better? If I'm not quitting porn, what can I do better? If I don't have the body I want, what can I do better? I'm taking responsibility. So I feel like
Yep.
people should never, never, ever blame outside circumstances or events, and always just take responsibility.
Exactly. Exactly. If you take responsibility for anything, then you can actually change those things. It's that simple.
Exactly. It's that simple. So what I do is I just say, hey, everything's happening for me, man.
Yeah, as well, man. That's a good perception paradigm shift that you can have. Is just like thinking that things are going, happening for you, and what that
Mhm.
allows you to do is actually like get benefits out of negative situations,
Mm,
and that's
mm.
powerful. Like even if it's maybe even if let's say it wasn't true that the things are happening for you, you're still like getting benefits, out of that. So
100%, man. I love that. So let's talk about some of the worst ways you think there are out there to quit porn, like porn blockers, for example. What do you think of those, man?
I mean, I just think that if you want to do something, then he'll do it. That it's really that simple. You can put porn blockers. I think the reason why people put porn blockers is just they know deep down they'll just get over the porn blockers, right? It's not like if they're honest with themselves, they'll know that they'll just like go and watch porn, if they want to. But yeah, I think porn blockers is just useless. Like,
Yeah, no. Did you ever use them?
did I? I don't think so. I don't think so. I
Yeah,
mean,
neither did I, man.
yeah, maybe like deleting social media, but other than that, no.
Yeah, I didn't even touch them. I didn't even think of them. I just knew, like, as easy as it is to turn them on,
Yeah.
I can just turn them off, man. So I never did that. Mm. What were some of the mistakes you made on your journey to quitting porn?
Um, I would say mainly just man, that's a very good question. I would say just trying to just like quit porn by using motivation in that sense. It's very shallow, but
Uh-huh.
like just trying to like watch videos about why you should quit porn. Like that's good,
Okay.
you know, if you link more benefits to quitting porn, but more so about like, you know, oh, just be disciplined, just use willpower. Like, okay, that's cool, but you know, if you genuinely don't want to watch porn, then you're not gonna need discipline or willpower, right? Um, so that's how I perceive it. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think definitely relying on willpower is a big one. But for me, it would just have to be giving up. Like I would try quit for a few days, and as soon as I relapsed, I would go into a binge. I would stop trying to quit bored. I'd be like, one more video,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
more video, and then that cycle would just go on until one day I was just like, okay, I'm done saying that porn helps me sleep. I'm done saying one more video. I'm done. I've learned from all of these mistakes. I'm not gonna give up. And I didn't even know I was gonna quit porn, but next thing I knew, I was 30 days clean, 60 days clean, and now I'm 3 years porn free, and I'm so grateful. I think one of the other things that I used to get me a lot was just telling people, bro. I'll be like, hey, I'm 30 days porn free. And telling people, I would expect them to celebrate the win with me, but they would be like, what are you doing? That bro, like why are you doing that? And it would get in my head, bro. It would literally get in my head, and then I would relapse. But one day I actually told someone who was also on this NoFap journey of self-improvement, and he was like, wow, I'm proud of you. And that was the first time I heard that. So having him tell me he's proud of me, I don't know what it did, man, but his support and his accountability, it really changed my life. I don't think I could have done it without him because I was like, nah, I don't want to let him down. And he really just motivated me. I know you probably disagree with some points there, but
Yeah, yeah, I disagree with accountability in the sense that, you know, again, like the easiest choice to take is just like debunking the value of porn, so you don't even want to watch it. Because like imagine that you've been eating hamburgers all of your life, and hamburgers you have like so much, you give it so much personal meaning that it's like the best thing in the world for you, and that it's gonna, you know, cure all of your negative emotions when you feel down. Then it's like I can have accountability for that, but the moment that I kind of feel down and I know the hamburger will be like a cure to this to the problem, then it's like I'm gonna want to do it. Like I want to do it, you know. But
mm,
rather, if I just debunk why the hamburger is like just an hamburger and you know there's nothing special about it, it's not gonna give me all of
mhm.
the benefits I'm thinking of. Then it's like there's no such thing as accountability because I can just like, you know, quit like this, you know.
Yeah, that's very powerful. Um, for me, I just feel like having the accountability partner helped me to debunk the limiting beliefs. It was like, okay, I might want to watch porn,
Yeah,
but one piece of the $1 million why was, okay, I don't want to let him down. And then, okay, I want to quit porn so I can travel, retire my mom, do all these things. And okay, and it helped me stop wanting to go to porn. So that's why I feel like trying to quit porn alone, I feel like it's a mistake. I don't know what you think about that, man.
I think it's possible. I've seen a lot of people that I know personally, like friends, for example, that the moment they decide to start watching porn, the same way that the moment I decided to stop playing video games, they just left it and they just left it behind. And most of the time, you know, I asked them, you know, how did you do it? And they just said like they didn't really see themselves as addicted, or they said that for them was just like they don't want to do it anymore. That's it was really that
Mm,
simple. And then they have the limiting beliefs because they were not
mm,
like, you know, on the NoFap watching videos.
mm.
So yeah, I mean, I think it just depends also on the individual and the way that you perceive porn. Like the way that you
Yeah,
perceive porn is going to determine like literally your ability to quit porn. It's really that simple.
yeah. No, that makes sense to me because if someone's not watching NoFap videos, if someone's not following us on Instagram or Twitter, then they probably they probably I want to say don't have as big of they don't perceive their problem as big, right? Or
Maybe.
they don't have a big porn problem. So it might be easier for them to quit. I don't know. Maybe they watch it less. I just know for me, I was watching porn every night, and a lot of people can relate to that. So I'm trying to help those people because it might be more difficult for them to quit porn alone. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, of course, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying that our help can like really help people because
Mm,
at the end of the day, we're giving them basically the blueprint from people that actually quit porn like us
mm,
to become free. It's just that we most of the time we cannot see the people that actually quit porn because once they quit porn, they're not like under the videos talking about like how they quit porn. They just moved
yeah,
on, right? They just moved on.
yeah.
So, and it's the same thing with drugs too, right? If you look at drugs, 97, I think it's 97% of people with that had a problem with cocaine before resolved their substance abuse, right? So it's really high, but most of the time we don't really see it because if you
Mm,
stop doing something, then you're not going to be a part of that thing anymore.
100%, man. 100%. I'm checking the chat for any questions, guys. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I see we have like 200 viewers. Thank you for tuning in.
Sir,
It's my first time live streaming on X. I don't even know how to check the chat,
let me
but
see.
I will see your messages. I will see your messages.
I don't know as well how to check the message.
No, I don't think anyone's put anything in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think of like trying to just like quit porn by trying to like live a life with less problems, if that makes sense?
Hmm. When you say live a life with less problems, do you mean like keeping yourself busy? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, for example, keeping yourself busy. That's a good one.
Uh, I honestly do not encourage people to keep themselves busy. I actually think that having urges and wants to go to porn are a good thing because every time you can overcome that want, you get stronger. Like, I'd be a lot more confident in myself if it's been 30 days and I've had to overcome 30 urges because I know, okay, next time an urge comes, I'm probably going to beat it. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting better at overcoming them.
Yeah.
Whereas if I've been keeping myself busy, I've been on holiday, I've been distracting myself. Um, when an urge comes, I might not be well equipped mentally to overcome that urge.
Okay. Okay, but
How about you? Mhm.
no, I mean, well, I have a question like based on what you said, um, like how would you get stronger from not doing something that you want to do? Like that's what I'm kind of confused on. Like, let's say that
Mm,
for example, I want to drink water, but I deny myself
mhm.
water. Like, why would I get stronger? If that makes sense.
Well, because porn and water are different things. Like, we kind of need water to survive, whereas
Yeah.
porn is more of a it's more of a luxury, if I can even call it that, because we both know it's not a luxury. But it's like if I let's say when I started gymming, when I started going to the gym, I gave up after about 2 3 months because it was there. But then in 2020, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be consistent now. And there were days where I didn't want to go to gym, but I went anyway. And there were many of these days. After 6 months, a year of going to the gym, even when I don't feel like going to the gym, I'm going to the gym. These days, I wake up in the gym and I'm like, okay, what am I training today?
Yeah.
What's available? I don't even know why I'm here. So I feel like, in terms of quitting porn, in the beginning, when you can beat those urges, even when you don't feel like beating them, and you can beat those urges and those strong, strong wants, any urge that comes, any want that comes after that, even if it's not as strong as the one you had before, you're going to be better equipped mentally to overcome it because it's like, I've been beating my urges. Why am I going to succumb to this one, even though it's not as big?
Okay. So it's from the paradigm of urges. I see what you mean. Because like my perspective, right, based on what you said, like because the gym, it's something you let's say you don't want to do based on your situation. Like let's say you don't want to go to the gym because it feels painful, for example. But porn is like something that you want because of specific reasons, right? So it's like they're both separate, but in a sense of like urges, the way I see urges is not like a biological thing that's gonna force you to watch porn, because there's no such thing as genes or whatever. There's no such thing as your biochemistry forcing you to go on a screen and watch a video, right? It's more so like an acquired taste of like, okay, this is not something that you're going to naturally gravitate towards, but rather something that you learn to like for, and you attach personal meaning and personal benefits to it, right? So an urge, I don't see it as like you have an urge popping out of nowhere and then it gets
Hmm.
strong. I just see it as like, okay, you want to watch more for specific reasons, and as long as you see those reasons, you always have to quote unquote urge. So yeah, I mean, what do you think?
I think it comes down to you see urges as a want,
Yeah.
and I see urges as like discomfort. So the way I see it, the more you can overcome discomfort, the better.
What do you mean by the discomfort? Like,
Mm, so discomfort, like going to the gym when you don't feel like going to the gym, can be like uncomfortable, or having cold showers can be uncomfortable at first. But after a while, and you see the benefits of going to the gym, and you see the benefits of having cold showers. Like I love having cold showers because it makes me make better decisions, make my decisions quicker in terms of approaching girls. It's like three, two, one, get in the cold shower, three, two, one,
yeah,
go approach that girl. So I see more benefits of having cold showers and going to the gym than not going to the gym
yep,
and having cold showers. So it's like I became comfortable, uncomfortable. And when we can become comfortable with having urges, pretty soon those urges are not even going to be existent because they're like, why would I even go back? Doesn't make sense.
but why would an urge be like uncomfortable? That's why I don't really understand in that sense from your perspective.
Mm, an urge, it's like energy. It's this energy that's this side of your mind. Okay, so from a scientific standpoint, there's cognitive dissonance, which is where it's like, do I watch porn or do I not watch porn? And it's this tug of war in our mind, and that can be uncomfortable. So it's
Okay.
about, no, I'm not gonna take a peek. No, I'm not gonna do this one more time. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So from my perspective, like let's say that for example you have two voices in your head. One says to watch porn, one says to not watch porn.
Hmm.
The way I see it is like you want to watch porn internally for specific reasons, like I mentioned. So it's like you want, right? That's the voice that you're the one that wants. Now the other voice is more so you trying to reason based on external judgment and external factors that you shouldn't watch porn. So that means, for example, if I watch porn, people say that you should feel ashamed of it, so let me not watch it, right? But at the same time, you're like, I want to watch it because I feel stressed right now, and I know that if I
Hmm.
watch porn, it's going to relieve my stress. So it's like this tug of war is like it's it's not like in a sense a devil fighting like an angel. It's more so you are trying to reason if you should watch porn or not.